over in this room before heading down, equipping keycard number 2, and inside here is the flare gun, which I already picked up some flares on the main deck of the ship, and I actually need the flare gun in order to brighten up the basement, which is pitch black, but if you know where to go in the basement, which I'll showcase, it's actually, I can get through there real quick without even having to use the flare gun. Unlike the first Metal Gear game where I needed to use the flashlight in order to make it through the basement area of the second to last building or whatever, because that place is almost impossible to navigate with all the traps and such. Don't really have to worry about that in the ship area. I would say, hey look, I punched a guy in the face and he dropped some food. Good for him. And I'm just going to go right past him and go inside the elevator, and now we're going to go take it down to the basement area. It's a little bit different of an elevator than in the first Metal Gear. They didn't have this type of elevator, but either way. We are now in the bottom of the ship, and you can see the first room is lit up. For whatever reason, this one actually is lit up, and then you can see immediately the next room is completely pitch black, and you can just see Snake. Somehow, even in darkness, Snake is still able to be seen. But I'm going to run up here real quick, open this door, run inside, and hey look, here's the ammunition pile. I'm going to equip my plastic explosive, drop one on the giant pile of ammunition, boom, it explodes, and now the entire ship is about to blow up. And of course, we're going to have to escape within a short time limit. We get a transmission from the helicopter pilot, and now we're going to have to run out of this place while it shakes, while it's getting ready to explode with a very limited amount of time. As you can see now, the actual Metal Gear style mech units just kind of hanging out, chilling around, not really doing too much. But yeah, so after I've somehow blown up the ammunition, then that whole room, I don't need the flare gun for anymore. It's already lit up, which is kind of funny. But I'm going to go all the way to the top of the deck of the ship. I'm going to skip the second floor. If I go in there, I'll probably end up dying because I'll run out of time. So, right to the deck of the ship. From here, we're going to head down to the right. There's a precise path we actually have to take and go inside here. We actually do have a radar that will tell me where to go in case you've never done this before, you don't really know where to go. There is a radar, but I think the radar is actually a little confusing. I really didn't understand it, but you come in here, that room, that wall somehow just explodes. You walk outside, and hey, look, there's the helicopter. Hey, he's just kind of hanging out, he's waiting for us, and now we get another transmission. Congratulations, Metal Gear is destroyed, but we have confirmed the existence of Metal Gear 2. Now Nick is missing. Contact your person at the enemy's base. If you somehow thought that was going to be the end of the game already, of course you were sadly mistaken, as we now have to go and find Metal Gear 2, as well as our other missing comrade, Nick. So now they're both missing, we have to find both of them now. We start off with this small enemy compound, which is more of like a desert style setting, dirt, floor, whatever. I don't know if it's desert, dirt, sand, whatever. But we basically start off in this small area, which is going to be, the whole compound really isn't enemies there. It's actually just full of supplies for us to just go around here now and collect a whole bunch of supplies that we're going to be needing for pretty much the next part of the game. Like, if you were going to break this game, this is like the second third. If you're going to break the game up into thirds, this is like we've beaten 1/3 of the game so far. And now this is the second third. And then we, of course, will have the whole final building, I consider like the final area, the final third of the game. As you can see, ammo as well as rations are clearly in this room. I'm going to, of course, then stock up as much as possible, as many as I can hold right now with my 3-star rank, because you know I'm going to need it, especially when I'm going to be coming up to a lot of the side-scrolling style areas throughout this part of the game, and then even farther into the game, even more side-scrolling areas, which is what ends up breaking this game for me and ends up making me hate this game. Okay, grab another one, grab another ration, run back out. Okay, now we're going to head over here to another room. And pretty much like I said, right now all I'm going to do is run around this little base area for a little bit, and I'm just picking up supplies. Because they conveniently just put you in a giant area with no enemies whatsoever, and every single item so far that you've picked up, you can just max out your supplies of to get ready to prepare yourself for what's to come. It's kind of like the room before, like the final boss room of certain video games, when they give you every item in the game and a save point and all that extra crap. Kind of seemingly what they're doing here, just like not even midway through the game yet. If that's the only thing I can really equate it to. I'm picking up, of course, oxygen tanks, which I am going to extremely need, so I'm going to pick up as many of those as I possibly can. They pretty much become the most essential item. As I now have plastic explosives, I'm going to drop one here, which didn't work. Okay, drop one there. Hey, look, it explodes. There's a random guy somehow hiding underneath of it with a rocket launcher. And now we drop down, and now we're in another side-scrolling area. Oh, what fun. And this is the first one that really introduces why the oxygen tanks are so absolutely essential to your completion of the game. It's because I have to drop explosives on these random underwater vents that stop me from being able to continue my journey underneath this ground area. And as you can see, my oxygen really quickly depletes, and if it runs out of tanks, I of course will then start to die. Which is a lot of fun, right? Yeah, it's an annoyance that is completely unnecessary, and it's one of the things that kills these side-scrolling areas even more than anything else, and is another reason why this game is completely not liked by many. But jump over this random explosive mine under the water, which also there's random cameras floating up and down. If they see me, enemies will start flying out of nowhere to come and kill me. I don't know how they would have, swam underneath all that other area to the left, but they will have found me, and they will come out of every corner possible in order to hunt me down. And hey, look, there's an enemy, and I just shot him, and he falls off hilariously as he just kind of like falls off the screen. Doesn't just drop dead or anything like that. Kind of funny. But escaping, I will now go ahead and refill up my supply of oxygen tanks in case I will need them before I will actually be able to grab another whole supply of them later on. But I'll take just a few seconds in order to refill this area before I continue, just because I want to make absolute sure that I have plenty of equipment before I go ahead and continue on in this game. Because you never know. This one is far, far less predictable than the first one, as I will now go up the elevator and head off, and now we're going to end up being right outside of another area of the compound, head up, and now we're going to see two guards guarding trains, and we're going to head into the left train, and now we start a whole nother train. We're actually on a train, as the train will now start to move, kind of like the trucks from the first Metal Gear game. Kind of funny. Anytime he's like, oh, something's moving. Oh, really? Thank you for being so observant. Throughout this train area, there's random panels, as you can see, that appear and do damage to me. So they're a lot of fun to deal with. Better off just to kind of quickly work my way through it. And here, if you remember from the first Metal Gear game as well, you had to walk between a couple of buildings with wavy bridges. That's pretty much the equivalent of those little bridges. In between the two train cars, or going between different train cars. The train overall really is a pretty simple little area to deal with. There is some ammunition and some hostages and stuff to pick up along the way. But our main goal is to get to the end, pick up an extra key card that we do need, and then go back and enter another room which we couldn't enter previously because we needed that key card, and then do battle with a boss and then head off the train. So, okay, now I'm going to go between two more. Of course, if I somehow just barely step off the edge there into that black area, I'm instantly dead. And, yeah, game over screen will appear. So I don't want to have to deal with that. And I'm just going to run in here and grab the X-ray camera, which I really don't need to deal with. I really won't use very much at all. But, as you can see, I just got shot, so I just unfortunately I'm down to 1 health. Take out these random soldiers. Okay, good. They actually died and all came out of the same spot, so they died quickly. Walk between two more cars. And now we are actually in the final truck, the final train. Just gotta be careful that I don't accidentally step on one of the random platforms. Walk in here real quick and save this hostage. He's like, hey, and now I'm just gonna stand here and not do anything. And I don't know how I'm escaping off a moving train, but I guess he does. Walk around the edge here, because if I walk in the middle just straight over to get to the key card, there is a giant trap in the middle that will open up, and just like in the other Metal Gear games, will be an instant death. But I unfortunately really can't use the transceiver cheat like I could in the first Metal Gear game in order to just bypass those. And hey, look, another guy that I have to use truth gas. He's like, oh no, truth gas, don't shoot. I don't know anything. Oh wow. how awesome was that guy? So M Bison unfortunately lets us down there. But now that we have that keycard number 4, we have to head back to the previous train that we were on. I'm gonna use some food here, just to make sure in case I accidentally step on one of those platforms, which I did immediately, of course. I don't know if I'm the only person, but I always seemingly do better with little health, like 1 or 2 hits left, than I do with full health, just because I'm always more cautious when I have only 1 health left. But okay, look, hey, look, there's John, who we've been looking for ever since he got somehow captured. You know, he got captured for our sake to enter the building. Somehow he's on this train, and we're going to free him now. But I highly suggest equipping the missiles first, as you're going to take damage immediately. I cannot get past him without taking a little bit of damage. And now he's like, oh man, I was a spy all along, so now you're going to die. And now this is a boss battle, but it's worthless. He just runs back and forth, dropping these explosives. You just gotta keep a